Welcome to the Mixorcist. Hey man, welcome. How's everyone doing? How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing good, man. I just spent the night sleeping in the bathtub for no reason.
Oh yeah?
I just felt like getting connected with my evil self, that's all.
Yeah, was it the ice water or the acid this time?
It was, it doesn't matter. The point is I just wanted to get my kind of Shining room. What was the room number in The Shining? What room number was that? Like 250 something?
273?
Room 237, jackass.
Maybe Google it later.
They changed it from the novel. Stephen King was pissed off about that, among other things.
Well, that's unfortunate. Well, here's a good number for you. 4. How about the number 4?
4 is
what are 4 plugins that any producer, beginning producer, engineer should grab first because they're flexible, they are good at what they do, they sound good, they're widely known, so it's easy to get support, it's easy to trade tips and presets or whatever, and they just, you can make records with them. That's the idea. So we're trying to keep your budget in check, trying to keep money in your pocket where it belongs, at the same time get you the tones and the sounds and the creative tools that you need to be a real artist with your engineering. So we've picked out 4 for you today. Ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. The first one I would choose is Shep's Omnichannel. Now, it's not one I use on everything, but if I had to choose one plugin to take with me, it's super efficient on CPU and is super flexible and sounds great, it would be this one. To be honest, not everything that Waves or even Andrew Sheps did under the Waves label is great. His Neve 1073 clone, I can't find a use for it, but this is exceptional. Let's look at what you're getting here. And you can get this on sale, I'm guessing, for anywhere from $20 to $30, or if you're buying bundles, or if you have some coupons or discounts, you could probably do even better. But you've got a preamp saturator here, along with the requisite roll-off filters, which are always good to have, with adjustable slopes. You've got a couple of saturation options here. Let's play with them and just listen to them in action. Here we go. I'm going to put on some, let's just start with a drum track. All right. Immediately notice, just by turning up the gain, the nice increase in punch and the immediacy of the sound without causing any real harm, right? Now let's switch to even harmonics. It's a little subtle, it's a little softer, and if we really crank it and abuse it, let's see what happens. You should start hearing the lower side start to fart out a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, if we abuse it, there's a button here you can hit called heavy. Let's listen to what this does. I'm going to back off the gain for a sec. That's got more of a crispy high, let's call it mid-range spit or spatter to it that I wouldn't want that all over the drum track, but if I could blend it or mix it in as a percentage with the original, that would be really, really effective. So just by dialing back on that saturation a bit, we come up with a nice, let's say A-B it. This is without. Let's pop it in. Just adjust the gain a bit. Without. It's kind of polite without it, crisp. Punch it in. Now it's starting to smear just a touch. And that'll really help bring the drums out in the mix. Now, if you wanted a gate, you've got a gate as well. I don't use gates on drums too much, but if you wanted that effect, it's there for you. It's also got a de-esser, so if you're doing podcasts, voiceover, speech, or vocals where you feel like you need to trim some of the sibilance out, it's here for you. There's a great equalizer section and a wonderful compressor. So you have everything you need here except effects. So for me, this is a really great starting point. And let's see if we can mess with the compressor and get it to sound maybe... Here I'd choose let's choose a VCA style compressor and let's play with it. See what kind of mess we can make.
Nice.
So now we've added some real character to make the drums sound a little more powerful. And again, I wouldn't 100% mix this wet maybe, but what a great tone. Let's listen without and then kick it back in. Without. And with. So it almost sounds like we're hearing a lot more of the room, almost like a gated reverb, and we're getting some really nice punchy tones out of it. Now let's check out the EQ as well. Let's see what the high shelf does. Maybe at around 11. And let's just gently start folding in some gain on the EQ. All right, so let's listen without. Let's put all of them back in. Without. Notice how the hi-hat almost gets sucked out into nothingness without that high shelf, right? And then you kick it in and all of a sudden that sizzle is there. So that's what you're looking for. The EQ does a really great job of doing it without introducing any phasiness or any weird artifacts. Let's listen again without. With. Too much trouble going on there. I wouldn't leave it like that, but why don't we try sucking out some of the, maybe I'd call that 500 or better. See what happens if we pull down a little bit of the mid, low mid.
Oh, wow.
I'll go a bit lower. And that just helped neutralize a little bit of the blap that was coming out of the snare. It was almost like there's a reverby effect there that I wasn't liking. So let's listen without just that one element. See, this is a great thing about Omni channel is that I can keep everything on, but I can remove just that one section, literally that one filter, which is a really powerful feature. A lot of EQs don't do that. Let's listen without that midsection scoop. Pay attention to the snare. Just kick it in. Hear that spanky kind of reflection right behind the snare? It's almost like a doubler. When you kick it back in, it starts removing some of that ugliness and cleans up the tone a bit. Now, here's the really interesting part, is if you really wanted the compressor to be before the EQ, you just drag that whole section and it rearranges them for you.
Yeah.
Which is a great feature because now you can put the distortion at the end for a different effect, or if we really wanted to chop up things and get more of a in the air tonight sound, I dare say we could open up the gate right on the end and let's start making a mess. Just by playing with the release a little bit, we could get that to tighten up the sound a touch. right? Listen to that. So by tweaking the controls a little bit, we could really chop up and create some interesting tones there. So that's my first choice. Well, I know all about what you want to know all about.
Yeah, excellent.
My second choice, see, that would be great on tracks and buses. I feel like from a mastering perspective, it may be a little too heavy-handed. But at the same time, let's talk about what I would use on a master or mix bus. And that's Plugin Alliance's BrainWorks BX Limiter.
Oh, nice. Good
So
pick.
BX Limiter, you probably get it for like $30. And let's check out what it does first on the drum track, and then we'll listen to it on a full stereo pair. So here we go. So it's not doing much yet. Let's bring down the ceiling and let's jack up the gain. Starting to tickle the meters there a little bit, you can see. Oh, let's listen without. My meters are showing that that's averaging at like minus 32 LUFS, minus 29. Let's kick it in. Now we're averaging at minus 19 with not really a lot of difference. I don't hear a lot of destructive limiting happening there. It's not really messing with the drum transients too much. Without. Pretty smooth, pretty clean, a little bit of dirt happening near the top, but honestly, that's a very nice clean limiter. So when we're trying to maximize tracks and you don't want to use these aggressive mastering plugs or aggressive volume maximizers, this is an excellent choice for that. So there is also a distortion circuit in there if you really wanted to use it. I don't find it all that useful, but for 20 to 30 bucks on sale, to my mind, this is a great way to finalize a mix without changing all the moving parts and the stereo image or the EQ curves of what you've so carefully made during the mix process. So those are my two. Sheps for every day, all tracks, any tracks, total flexibility, really great sound sculpting, and then BX Limiter to seal the deal with some nice transparent limiting.
Well,
What do you think, Eric?
I think that they're both really great picks. And the Omni.
Wait, you want to hear it? Let me put it on a mix for you.
Yeah.
Let's grab one of the ones we've been
quick.
using for the past couple episodes, and let's just listen to the limiter. Let me reset it. Minus 20 LUFS. Let's get some gain in there.
Yeah, let's push this.
Really brings the volume up and doesn't change, the mid-range. It's not messing with your transients. It's not creating artifacts. I like that. Let's try adding some of their little distortion circuits, see what it does. That's without.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. That sounds
Now,
pretty good.
granted, a lot of the joy that you're getting out of that is because the volume's upping, but at the same time, that saturator breathes a little bit of life into it. So it's actually quite nice. And it's got everything you can go blended here. You don't have to go 100% with that. So very flexible tool, highly recommended. Anyway, I'm stealing your thunder, man. Let's hear it.
Oh, what have I got here? Let's see. In terms of, while we're on the topic of with those drums and stuff, I picked True Iron as one. And then I remember that I forgot, there was a plugin I forgot, but maybe if I go quick enough. So True Iron is a transformer emulator from Kazrog. It came out, when it came out, it had 4 models, I think, but now it has 6 models, including Western Electric models, Marinair, a bunch of European ones. They've all got different sounds, different profiles. And let's just hear what it does, just the stock setting. Here's that same drum loop, which I'm sure you're getting sick of by now after 2 episodes. But there's dry and engage. If you hear it, if you're on good monitors, you could hear the shift. It's an instant sound stage that it gives. I'll turn the strength up, though, for those of us on headphones right now. The crush. So let's say we're going to start cutting into that transient. Really get the sound of like overdriven transformer. This takes it beyond what the model itself, the real transformer does, which is kind of cool.
For sure.
Because you can if you want, you can. There's more. If this is all stuff that gives even more harmonics. I mean, that's getting ridiculous, right? And then there's like makeup gain here. Let's check out the different models have different headroom. Like this 111C has a lot of headroom. See, so it's pretty faithful behavior. You get some geek settings, which sorry, you were going to say?
No, I was going to say for fun, go on a moderate crush, like take the X2 off, max out the crush, but max out the strength, and then pull the mix back to 75 just to compare. Down a little further. And then AB off, completely bypass.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh,
that's nice.
Kick it in.
Parallel distortion.
Very nice, which of course you couldn't do with a real transformer.
Nope.
In any capacity, right? So this gives you tons of flexibility.
If you had 2 consoles and parallel and multed out,
Why would you? Just get the plug-in.
Just put this on every channel and be done with it. Right?
Well, don't do that. Don't go vintage warmer. Remember vintage warmer when it came out? It sounded so good that everyone put it full strength on everything.
That was garbage.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, right? Because I liked it, I used it on everything too. But then T-Rex came out, so I used that on everything.
That was a great plug too.
So you got some geek settings in here. 0 latency if you need that, if you're live tracking or something. Linear phase, which is actually just the oversampling. I forgot how many times. And whoa, DC filter. Look at this. This is a developer that knows what they're doing.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Because it's generating even harmonics. And you need that every time you
geek tweaks.
Do this. Yeah. So, what else? I don't know. DNA is supposed to be a more accurate modeling. They added that later. It's more CPU intensive though. As is the linear phase is more CPU intensive as well, but it does get rid of and I've tested this. It gets rid of a lot of the aliasing and stuff. Morph is it'll add even more harmonics as you move the strength up, and that's about all there is to this plugin. So I'll just move on to my next pick.
Well, sorry, do we have like 10 seconds to listen to it on that mix you just pulled up?
Oh yeah, sure. Let's try that. Let's give it the default. Let's go 100%. I'll turn it on now.
Oh.
Now, to be fair, that was a considerable boost in gain, too. So louder always sounds better. Because I remember I had to make up that gain when I was really crushing it. And this plugin, by when you turn it on, it actually does add a little bit of gain, too. There's a little trickery going on there. I'm going to pull it back.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe a little bit more. This is about right, I think. I'll put it on the same spot. I'll go on and off with it. See, it's subtle. That's more in line with what transformers actually do in the real world.
Yes.
Even this is still pretty strong, but yeah, it's very good. You can use this on a mix. You can use it in on your tracks and on buses and on the master. You could use it in mastering subtly. I find when I push it a little too much, it could get a little bit blurry. But then again, I'd only discovered this linear phase thing a little while ago, so I haven't really given it the full run.
That's a guitar forward mix, so it's a little hard to hear what it wants to do on a snare,
right?
What it wants to do on the kick. Whereas when you put it on the single drum loop, you could really hear it adding some punch, which it didn't do as much on the mix. It just kind of warmed it and broadened it.
Yeah.
And brought out some nice nuance, some tonal nuance in a very musical way.
They went to a great length to try and get that transformer sound in this. And it made a splash when this came out. This was the thing for a while, right? Like, whoa.
Nominated for a mix. What's the Mix Magazine Awards? The
TEC award?
Mix. The Tech Award, that's it. It was nominated. I'm not sure if it won, but it certainly deserved the nod.
Yeah. And so, that's a great plugin. You could put it on every track if you want that. It'll add a lot of weight, that's for sure, if that's what you're looking for.
Your mother's in here with us, Karis. Would you like to leave a message? I'll see that she gets it.
My next pick is free, so you'll download it. It's the Free Verb, not even a plugin, it's a suite of plugins. There's probably 5 or 6 of them, and you get a limiter and a compressor and an impulse playback machine, just like 6 plugins. But
there you go.
Let's just shorten that right up. Wow thing. 80s, right? You want to get it even more 80s, you can take all the sustain out. Use that on a send or something. I love that because this actually it got really close to that kind of non-land reverse sloped kind of reverb, but it's a way to get it for free here.
It's a nice smooth verb.
Oh yeah, the other algorithms in here are incredible. They start to remind me of Lexicon with the modulations and stuff. Let's actually just do something ridiculous here for a minute. Let's go to one of the other ones. This is another one of the good ones. They've got a couple in here that are like, okay, but these two I picked because I really like them. Here we go.
Man, play that without, like sustain for days.
There's a bit of sustain in this.
There's a little built-in verb there.
Too loud too, so let me pull that down.
Yeah.
So without, and is this the right one?
Whoa!
Oh, it gets crazier than that too. If you want, you can make it feedback. It'll feed back to where it gets out of control if you want that.
Whoa!
I'm gonna have to shut it off soon. Because I don't know how to stop
it's
it.
Coming for you. It's coming.
It's got modulation here with the rate and the intensity. Yeah, free verb is incredible, and I find that quite often the difference between this and a really expensive emulation is sometimes close to 0, and it's just like a little bit of saturation maybe away. That's it.
Does it do like a room if you wanted a room vibe around some guitar cabs, or if you wanted a tight feel for a drum kit? Can you get there?
Pick one of their other ones for that.
Sure.
There's the Hibiki reverb. And reverb's kind of cool for that too, I think. I guess for a room that we wouldn't want to be using the explosion, we go back to the drums, but
yeah.
Let's get that RT60 time down. It's kind of synthetic.
Yeah.
This is more in the, in the world of Lexicon than it is in Bricasti, if you know what I'm saying.
Very algorithmic.
Very algorithmic, digital sounding.
Right. So on the shorter verbs, it's going to sound a little mathy. It's going to have a little bit of that basketball ring to it.
Yeah, I would get rid of some of that pre-delay. That'll help. There it is. Yeah, that 15 milliseconds on it. Oh, that's negative pre-delay, by the way. I didn't realize it could do that.
Just don't do that. Yeah.
Let's go negative 100. That's negative pre-delay. Who knew?
That's funny.
What a world. I wanted 0. There we go. That helps. But you can hear it's not a room.
It's nice ambience without being, when you don't want that tail, right? When you want that big tail, especially on drums, you don't want a tail getting in the way.
Yeah. And some of these,
very nice.
Have, those early reverbs where you very much hear the separate echoes, the separate pings in the area, and it kind of goes between the left and the right.
It's almost like
there's one on here that can do that, which I really like. I don't ask me to find it now. So Freeverb, just try and find it. Maybe it is for Mac, so I don't know.
I'll take a look.
And what are we doing on time now? Because I did have something.
We're at
I could show you for 2 minutes. Some cheating. I'm going to do 3. Unfiltered audio biome.
Oh,
if you want effects, actually, it's got everything. This is a completely modular environment. I don't know, it's 50 effects or 40 effects. Here's the delays: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different types of delays. Some of them are really out there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 8 distortions. Compressor, auto compressor, limiter, noise gate, filters. These are synth filters, so they're nice and aggressive sounding. Granular synthesis, 3-band EQ, mixed utility pan, stereo image, modulation. Here's all your chorus flange, ring mod, rotary, And these actually they do sound quite good. It's 4 different reverbs. So you've got all that. What you do is you add. I want to add a new thing here. So maybe I'll add a reverb. The renown reverb's nice. Maybe I don't want to hear that right now or that, just the reverb. And then what do I do? Oh, I turn it on. Let's tighten that up. There's some more fakey fake for it. But it's pretty quality stuff overall. There's a diffusion.
Oh, there you go.
Glitch shifter.
Ooh.
That was cool.
Double down.
You can. If you're
Is that locked to the BPM or?
Yeah, if you want it to, or you can unlock it. You can unlock it as well. What else? I don't know. I mean, the deep reverb
very
is
Herbie
nice.
Hancock.
Yeah. So it's got all your. I guess my point being is that if you're on a budget, you buy this thing, you get 40 different effects. This also, by the way, has the modulation matrix. If you remember from the delay, where you could move cables. So, oops, I don't know why that didn't work. Wait, you can. It's like a big modular effects rack, basically. You can put LFOs on all of these parameters. You can pretty much dial up any kind of sound that you want, including traditional. You could make a traditional channel strip in this, I guess, if you didn't have anything. But that wouldn't happen because every DAW comes with a lot of stuff already, right? So that's the first step for bang for the buck, is just get a nice DAW for a good price, like Reaper for $60 or something.
Yep.
You know?
I mean, if you buy Logic, it now comes with EQs, like a Neve emulation, a 1073. It comes with a Pultec emulation, all built in. This is stuff that 10 years ago you weren't getting for free. So the value of what's in your DAW has really gone up. Logic has great verbs, but I think we wanted to talk about stuff that was platform independent that still helps you make great art. So you got some, 4 basic plugins that every engineer should grab that can really up your artistic game and give you the tools that you need to play, to learn, and to build stuff, to make great art.
Absolutely. And that's what it's all about.
All right. I think that's our clock. So guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope you learned something. Send us some notes, send us some questions, requests, your comments, anything. It's all good. Get out there and create great music.
Rock and roll.